What if I told you there's a tech job paying 200K, 300K, even 400K a year, and you don't even need a computer science degree to get it? Most people don't believe me when I say that. Honestly, I wouldn't have believed it either a few years ago. I came from film and 3D animation, zero tech background. I actually quit my first coding class because I couldn't keep up. Thought I wasn't smart enough for this stuff. Last year, I made 227K. And now Apple, Meta, Netflix, Amazon are all reaching out to hire me, personally. During the worst tech layoffs in a decade, without me even applying, I've got the email sitting in my inbox. The job I'm talking about isn't software engineering. It's not data science. It's something most career advisors don't even know exists yet. And that's exactly why there's so much opportunity right now. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, why it pays so well, and how I got here without the traditional path. Because if you're stuck in a career that's going nowhere and you've been told you need a CS degree to make real money in tech, you need to hear this. Let's go. What the job actually is. What is AI engineering? So what it is basically taking AI models that already exist and making them useful. So in the past, you used to have to actually be a researcher and have to train the models. Now the models actually exist. You're just making them useful. So you're not building AI from scratch. You're actually just implementing it. After about 10 years of creating these models, now they exist. You're just putting together. So it's like being a builder versus being an architect. Now we actually need to build things to basically build our city of different AI models. So the models exist and companies need people who can actually use them. So why does it pay so well? Because there's massive demands and there's not enough supply. So every company wants to use AI, but very few know how to implement it. And the thing is about it is that AI companies, the company doesn't necessarily have to be an AI company. It just needs to use AI to improve their business. So there's a gap between AI research and actually mapping that to business value. So companies will pay a premium for people who can actually bridge that gap. Why no computer science degree is required? Well, the traditional path that is going like the university path is broken because CS degrees teach theory and not actual implementation in the real world. Most CS grads can't do what companies actually need because they're so far behind what is actually being done in the industry. Curriculum is years behind this industry, and you could tell because you hear every week there's a new AI model and something new that AI could do. And the traditional industry or traditional academic path takes years before they catch up and have to go through and update the curriculum. What companies actually want are people who are actually able to build something that works, that you're actually able to solve real problems that they're facing. And not only that, explain AI to non-technical stakeholders because you're going to be the AI expert. They're being hired because they don't want to be the AI expert. They just want to know what the problems are so they can make this basically business decisions and make the correct choice. They don't care about your degree. They care about the results. My personal background, I came from film and 3D animation. I quit my first coding class because I thought I wasn't smart enough. And I had no CS degree when I started. If I could do this, the path is open for you as well. Last year, I made 227K, and that is base salary. That's not including stock options or also bonuses as well. And the thing is, companies were reaching out. I had Apple reach out personally, I had Meta reach out, I had Netflix, and there's also Amazon as well, and all during tech layoffs without me applying. And what made this possible was the fact that I built real projects and showed real results. That's the main difference here. And I positioned myself where demand was highest. I focused on implementation and not theory, but most importantly, got around people who actually have done it, right? And not just showed tests or pretty much toy projects. How I actually got here. So my starting point, I was in film and 3D animation. That was my background. I had no coding experience. In fact, I quit my first coding class because I thought it was too hard and I was way behind because everyone else already knew coding. Then in my learning phase, I learned basically just in time because I had to actually work on real projects and I had to learn what I need to do to get by. So I learned what was needed to get by, not just in case. I didn't learn things that I wasn't using. Then I started doing web development. That took about 3 or 4 months just because I saw that was kind of universal and it worked in every platform. Then I transitioned to AI, and that was another like 3 to 4 months. I never formally learned Python from a course. I learned it by actually doing real projects. And then my first AI job, I was building prediction models for the stock market, and I was translating research papers into working code. And I got headhunted because there's only a few people in the world who's actually able to do that. taking academic research or just theory and actually making it into working code. And then my mentorship in 2019, I sought out Yoshia Bengio, which is the godfather of AI, and networked with Kat Manilak from Y Combinator, as well as Michelle Zatlin, the Cloudflare COO. And the main thing for me is, and I think this is the best advice for anyone who's actually trying to do anything seriously, when you're trying to break into something new, learn from people who've already done it. There's no point of reinventing the wheel. If someone has done it, learn from them, stand on the shoulders of giants to basically expedite your progression into your career. Now in 25, 26, I built AI for Apple Vision Pro, built AI for self-driving cars, multiple AI patents, Y Combinator reach out to me, and fan companies are in my inbox. Why is now the time? The market reality is right now is that AI adoption is accelerating and every company needs AI talent. And there's not enough qualified people and the demand is only growing. In fact, there's a lot of people who openly out saying they don't want to use AI. That just gives more opportunity for talented people who know how to use AI because AI is already here and every company's already tried to use it. So it just makes it more appealing to people who already know how to use it because companies are actively looking for it right now, whether you like it or not. So you might as well be riding the wave and not be obsolete and get swept under it. So the window right now, the tools are getting easier. It's a lot easier than it was 10 years ago because you actually had to build the models from scratch. Now you don't need to build the models from scratch. You just have to put it together. So it's a much lower barrier of entry than ever. But the window won't stay open forever because, again, there's not enough qualified people and the demand is only growing. It's only a matter of time before that gets saturated. So you want to jump on the opportunity right now for this. So who's this for? Basically, technical people who are stuck below their potential, people without a CS degrees, but who want to get into tech, and career basically career changers who's looking for high paying opportunities. And the main thing is, as well as your domain experience becomes your superpower because yes, AI adoption is everywhere and is accelerating and every company wants it, right? But the other part of the equation is that you have to know the company's business needs. So if you have a certain domain experience, you know the pain points, and you know what success looks like and how that industry works, that is your superpower because if you know how to use AI, you're going to use it much better than someone who just knows how to use AI but don't know the domain. What you actually need to learn is Python for data science, not just general Python or like 100 days of coding in Python. You just need to know what's needed to do the data science part of it. Classical machine learning basics, just understanding the concepts of it. You don't necessarily have to be a research level proficiency at this. And you need to understand the modern AI tools. That's LangChain, RAG, like agentic workflows. And then the engineering fundamentals. This is what's important in terms of working in the real world, like Git, for example, for source control, how do you code and then work with a team and manage your code? Docker to actually containerize and deploy it. So we pretty much, the things you make, you could put in a container. It's like if you have everything on one computer and you're sending it off, so you could avoid the problem of, well, it works on my computer, but it doesn't work on others. And then as well, how to work with the cloud. So once you containerize it and you can put it on the cloud, you can actually scale this up and make this into a much more powerful solution. And one of the most important things is business translation, meaning what you've done, technically, how does that translate to the business needs and why should they care? Basically, you have to have the skill set of explaining these AI models and these AI tools and the solution you built to non-technical people to show them why it's important for the impact of their business. What you don't need now is advanced math, unless you are going to be a researcher, but we're talking about AI engineering here. So you need to be able to build it. You don't necessarily need to have to prove out all the theory. You don't need PhD level research skills. You're using it. It's kind of like, if you're driving the car, you don't have to know how to build a car from scratch and basically all the theory of a car to drive it, right? And you don't need years of experience. You just need it to work. And you definitely don't need a CS degree as long as you can prove that what you're doing and using these AI models are actually working in the real world and solving a real business problem. What got me here, I learned just in time, not just in case. So I learned what was needed to solve the problem at hand. And over time, I basically built a repertoire of things that I need to actually solve problems in my domain. And the thing is, I learned as well is my non-optimal solution beats your non-existent one. So one of the things that happens when you first start out You might experience like imposter syndrome, and that's mainly because you feel like, oh, I'm not doing things correctly. It's not the most optimal solution. But you'll learn that you'll beat out 99% of the people just by trying and actually having something that works, because 99% of the people will tell you what is the best solution or how they would have done it, but they actually haven't done it. So you actually building something might not be optimal, but it gets the job done. And not only that, you could just improve that over time and you get better. And the other thing I've learned as well is complexity is compound in simplicity. So something's complex at first because you don't understand it, but it's basically built up of a lot of simple things put together. And as you work through things, you're going to learn the simple things one by one. And eventually you realize, oh, I understand this complicated thing, because you'll understand all the components of that what makes that up, which is all simple things together. And the other thing is, your best work is your finished work. Of course, when you look at things, you could always say you could do things better, but because something actually working is better than that something that is perfect that doesn't exist, similar to what I was mentioning up here. And the other thing that's really important is your domain experience is your superpower, is not a limitation, because you know in your domain what is the definition of success, what the pain points are, and you'll know exactly what an AI model or solution should do because you know that domain, versus someone that may be an AI expert or might be more experienced than you, but they don't know the domain. They don't know what they'll be doing or what actually works in that space. So your domain is actually your superpower, and that's your edge. I want to touch upon the mindset to have when approaching this, because when you first come into a new industry, you might have imposter syndrome and think you're not worthy enough of this or have enough skills for this. Like, for example, one common thing you might hear or think is that I don't have a computer science degree. Well, when I started, I didn't have it either, right? So the thing is, this is also early industry, so degrees are not made until something's established, and a lot of times it's retrofitted. There's going to be things that exist afterwards that could be based off of stuff that you're making now. So, of course, there is no computer science degree or degrees for certain industries as they're new, because this is such a new industry as well. The other thing is, you might think I'm not smart enough. Everybody thinks that when you start anything new because you don't know anything yet, right? In fact, I quit my first coding class for the same reason. But then I had to learn how to code due to the types of projects I was working on. And little by little, I learned it and I realized, oh, I actually knew how to do this stuff, right? The other thing is that people might say, oh, the market is saturated right now. Well, it's saturated with tutorial watchers, not actual builders. There's a lot of people applying for it, but they're not actually demonstrating the skills to apply that they could actually apply the models they learn or the solutions they build to a real world problem or specific to that company's or that business, their domain itself, right? The other thing is I don't have connections. Well, of course, when you start off anything, you have to build your network from zero, right? So the thing is, myself, I built it by actually going in the space. The more you're involved with that, the more people you meet with it, and it builds from there. That's how networking works in general. The other thing is, it's kind of too late. Well, the field is really early, so there's still the window of opportunity open, because a lot of things are still being discovered right now. AI engineering is the opportunity. The path exists for people without any traditional backgrounds. I have other videos demonstrating or outlining the roadmap and skills you need to actually build this out. And remember, your background isn't a limitation. That is actually your edge, because even if someone knows AI and might know it even better than you, nobody knows your background or domain better than you do, especially if you combine it with AI. You're going to greatly surpass or be a lot more valuable than someone who just knows AI alone.